Will Toronto take the province to court? That decision being made right now at City Hall.
Council itself is divided over whether to try and stop the Ford government from cutting it nearly in half. CTV's Tracy Tong is there live right now. Tracy, not a debate without emotion either.
Absolutely, Ken, and this has been a marathon special meeting happening in City Council chambers. They are actually voting right now on all of the motions that are related to challenging Bill 5 in court, and I can tell you that the motion has passed in favor to commence an application to challenge the legality of Bill 5 in court.
But what Doug Ford did was an affront to democracy.
A group of Toronto councillors not giving up the fight against the provincial law passed last week that will cut council from 47 to 25. Today, council is exploring legal options with the city solicitor on how to challenge Bill 5 in court.
The majority of council has been very clear about its position, as I have been as mayor and as the head of the council. The process by which this monumental change was made was wrong and is unacceptable.
I can't believe that in our civilized society that the courts would allow for gerrymandering in an election process. I just don't believe it.
I do have some cheese to go with all the whining that seems to be going on down here.
Other councillors saying this special meeting is pointless.
You are not going to win any battle here. You're not going to do it. If anything, you're only going to stop, perhaps, a municipal election from taking place the way it should be.
Quite frankly, today is a waste of time.
Time is a major factor in all of this. Today, we heard the city clerk say the city is now set up to go into the upcoming election with the new 25-ward model. And even if the city were successful in court, well, she is not confident they would be able to revert back to the old 47-ward model in time for the election. These lawyers say they're now also joining the fight to strike down Bill 5.
Our clients are an individual candidate, a member of the community, an elector, and as well as a community group.
A packed gallery not allowed to applaud during the meeting showed their support or dissent in other ways. So again, voting still happening right now in council chambers, but the vote that passed to challenge Bill 5 in court passed 27 to 15, and we know that there is a court date set aside to hear all arguments on August 31st. Reporting live, I'm Tracy Tong. Back to you.
Thank you, Tracy. And while that debate happens, the campaign continues. CTV's Austin Delaney is in East York. Austin, today was also the first day for people to register to run for the new, smaller city council, and in some cases, re-register.
And less seats, more competition. In some cases, they're pitting incumbents against incumbents. Now, that can to take a crack at City Hall. Lanrick Bennett is a first-time candidate taking a run in the new Broadview-Danforth riding.
I'm running for city council.
Traditionally, it is not easy to beat an incumbent, but under the redefined ridings, Bennett is facing not one, but two longtime councillors, Paula Fletcher and Mary Fragadakis, who could split the vote.
You're hoping that they're going to just bash at each other enough so that, yes, I can do that walk up the middle.
And be seen as a new alternative. Councillor Norm Kelly was one of the first to register in his new ward today.
Well, going from the smaller ward to the large ward means that you have to raise more money for your campaign. You need more volunteers.
With the wards cut from 47 to 25, it means some incumbents will face colleagues.
Look, I'm running against Norm Kelly. He's a good friend, and he's looking to retire me, and I'm looking to retire him. I'd rather have the second retire him versus him retiring me.
Among those who had already registered before the Ford government's changes to the boundaries is April Engelberg, now trying to find out who she's up against.
So previously I was running with no incumbent and in a ward that was 1/3 of the size of Spadina-Fort York. I don't know who I'd be running against, but I'm running regardless.
Meanwhile, both Paula Fletcher and Mary Fragadakis say they won't sign up to the new riding until all possible legal avenues against the boundary changes have been explored. And those candidates have some time to figure things out. Registration for council seats to run for a council seat closes September 14th. Reporting live, I'm Austin Delaney.
Thank you, Austin. The Premier, meantime, says what is good for Toronto isn't necessary in other cities.
Doug Ford telling a group of municipal leaders in Ottawa he will not be altering their elections. CTV's Colin DeMello covering the Premier's comments. Colin?
Well, Ken, this bill certainly sent shockwaves across the province in many towns and cities, and those elected officials were wondering, could it happen to us? Today, they got that answer, it seems, from Premier Doug Ford.
Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario.
This was an address to alleviate their concerns about the controversial law to limit the number of Toronto City Councillors.
I occasionally get asked if I have plans to introduce a similar law here in Ottawa or elsewhere in the province.
At the Association of Ontario Municipalities, provincial mayors say that law was dramatic.
It was shocking. It was quick.
And the greatest fear now is that the same law would be applied to every city and every town in this province. Ford tried to put those fears to rest, calling Toronto a unique situation.
I would say that many of Toronto issues are specific to Toronto. And no, we do not, I repeat, we do not have plans for similar legislation in our near future.
It is, for many here, a cautious sigh of relief.
He did add at the end of it for now. So, of course, you know, I think that's going to be discussion over the years to come if he decides that he wants to make a change.
There are still worries, however, about the type of relationship municipalities will have with Premier Ford, which is why some say they are putting more stock in Steve Clark, the Minister of Municipal Affairs.
He's a great collaborator, so I'm really confident that if it's running under his department, I really think it's not really the Premier as much as the Municipal Affairs Minister that will be running it.
It is a delicate relationship where no one seems to know exactly where they stand. And Premier Ford told those mayors and city councillors today that he is a believer in having open and honest dialogue with municipalities. The opposition has pointed out in the past, though, that Bill 5 was pushed through without any consultation with the City of Toronto.